Hillary Clinton is as qualified or more qualified than I am to be Vice President of the United States of America. Let's get that straight. She's a truly close personal friend. She is qualified to be President of the United States of America. She's easily qualified to be Vice President of the United States of America. And quite frankly, it might have been a better pick than me, but she's first rate. And the other thing I heard a very, by the way, and I mean this sincerely, a very strong and a very good political speech from a Lieutenant Governor of Alaska who I think is going to be very formidable and very formidable.
Part of what a leader does is to instill confidence, is demonstrate that he or she knows what they're talking about and communicates to people. If you listen to me and follow what I'm suggesting, we can fix this. When the stock market crashed, Franklin Roosevelt got on television and didn't just talk about the princes of Greece.
Are you disappointed with the tone of the campaign, the lipstick on the pig stuff, and some of the ads? And you guys haven't been completely guilt-free, making fun of John McCain's inability to use a computer.
I thought that was terrible.
Why'd you do it then?
I didn't know we did it, and if I didn't do it, we'd have never done it. And I don't think Barack, I mean, I just think that was...
Did Barack Obama approve that ad? He said he did, right?
Yeah, the answer is, I don't know. I don't think anything was intentional.
Wind and solar are flourishing here in Ohio, so why are you supporting?
We're not supporting clean coal. Guess what? China's building every week, two dirty coal plants. And it's polluting the United States. It's causing people to die.
So will you support wind and solar over
absolutely. Before anybody did. The first guy to introduce a global warming bill was me 22 years ago. The first guy to support solar energy was me 26 years ago. It came out of Delaware. But guess what? China's going to burn 300 years of bad coal unless we figure out how to clean their coal up, because it's going to ruin your lungs, and there's nothing we can do about it. No coal plants here in America. Build them if they're going to build them over there. Make them clean, because they're killing you. See ya. Thank you.
Chuck Graham, state senator's here. Chuck, stand up, Chuck. Let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I tell you what, you're making everybody else stand up, though, pal. Thank you very, very much. I tell you what, stand up for Chuck. Thank you, pal. You can tell I'm new. Good to see you, buddy. Thank you. Thank you. We want to take money and put it back in the pocket of middle-class people.
Anybody making over $250,000 is going to pay more.
You got it. It's time to be patriotic, Kate. Time to jump in. Time to be part of the deal. Time to help get America out of the rut. The Republican Party and some of the blogs and others on the far right are trying very hard to paint a picture of this man. They're trying the best as they can to mischaracterize who he is and what he stands for. All this stuff about how different Barack Obama is. They're just not used to somebody really smart. They're just not used to somebody who's really well educated. They just don't know quite how to handle it. Because if he's as smart as Barack is, he mustn't be from my neighborhood. Well, thank you, Mr. President. As I was telling the Prime Minister and the Speaker today, I consider you among one of the fewer than a handful of men in the world who possess not just great experience, but genuine wisdom. And you know, and I say to your friends and to the press here, that I've always sought it. I've sought it over the past 40 years, and I mean that sincerely. Mr. Sullivan and I, my national security advisor, on the way back from the Sharon Ranch, were talking about, he raised the point that you may be the most eloquent and articulate man he's ever heard. And I pointed out that not only are you eloquent and articulate, but you possess great wisdom. President Obama wanted me to be here today, not merely, but primarily to pay our respects to a great war hero, but a man whose life seemed to, from my perspective at least, mirror the changes that occurred in Israel since its inception as a nation state. At the very outset, the overwhelming necessity was literally to keep from being pushed into the sea by hostile neighbors that were more powerful and had larger armies and more weapons. And he led the fight and changed the circumstance, where Israel is no longer in physical jeopardy as a consequence of being overwhelmed. Israel is a significant power in its own right. And but as that changed, it seemed to me as though former Prime Minister Sharon not changed, but changed his focus. When I said today that one of the last utterances he made, major statements, was he wanted to work on peace, God only knows what would have happened had the last 8 years been one where he was still in that vineyard working for peace. I think it reflects a change in the region, the need to, the understanding that Israel's ultimate security rests in a genuine accommodation with the Palestinians that is born out of secure borders but peaceful. You know, I was saying earlier, Mr. President, that the Arab Spring is an incredible historical phenomenon. But I think our grandchildren and great-grandchildren are going to look back on it and say, why did they think they could manage it? It has a life of its own, and we can only hope to be wise enough to help steer it in the right direction. But the one place where there's a possibility for an island of stability, quite frankly, is what you said, and that is between the Palestinian people and the Israeli people, in two secure states, respecting one another's sovereignty and security. And the President believes, and I believe, this is one of those opportunities, one of those moments in history where it has to be seized. As you know, my friend, and he is my close friend for a long time, John Kerry, is passionate about creating and trying to help accommodate that outcome. And there are difficult decisions. They're going to be very difficult decisions. And I, like you, believe that the Prime Minister is up to it. It's not easy. None of this is easy. And let me say one last thing, Mr. President. I said to you privately, we're waiting for the actual burial, that it is truly remarkable that, from my perspective, God blessed this great country at its inception with such a group of exceptional men and women, exceptional leaders. It seems as though if you look at your generation of leaders, from Ben-Gurion to many who I've gotten to know, I knew, from Golda Meir to Rabin to to all of the men and women who were, as they say, to steal a phrase from a book written in the United States, present at the creation. Yes, exactly right. And it was, and so part of it was to even though all of you had different political points of view, you were all absolutely convicted about the necessity for there to be a nation-state of Israel as the ultimate security for Jews around the world. I still believe that to be the case. And I think and I'm convinced that all your life's work has been leading to this moment. And God willing, it'll be able to be seized. God willing, the Abu Mazen will be up to the task because he's got to make some very difficult decisions. So I'm looking forward to having a chance when we can sit alone to plumb the depths of your knowledge about how you see things actually unfolding in a detailed basis. But let me conclude by saying, and I've said this many, many times, it's an honor to be with you, and you're one of those men who every time I meet with, I learn something, and I appreciate that, and I'm anxious for us to be able to have a discussion.
Thank you so much.